Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Unnamed Gaming Podcast. I am your martial idiot, Tempusbe. I'm joined, as always, by our lovely general idiot, Nettle, and the admiral idiot, Bendy. I'm doing this. Could be in the wrong places.
Oh, you're
in the
fine.
right place for me.
Yeah, you're in the right place.
Cool. It worked out fine. And coat check, Craig.
Right.
So, yeah. If you're in the Discord, you'll understand that. If not, join the Discord.
If you're not joining the air, what's your excuse? You'll understand all of these jokes if you join our Discord. Just saying.
However, if you don't check your coat,
you
Oh,
will get a slap on the wrist.
she'll kill you. She'll do it.
see this face?
It's an
This is the
actual
face of-
firing range.
Yeah,
that we've had
it's
to
not
have
actually
put
a coat
into the
check.
Discord.
It's a firing range.
Anyway, before we scare anyone off, how have we both been this week?
Yes, been good.
Good.
A week happened.
A week has happened. Yeah.
You are factual.
Oh.
A week has in fact happened.
Yep.
Well, I hope we both enjoyed our bank holidays anyway.
We've got another one coming up.
Not
Big one.
not until the beginning of June.
Shh.
Sorry.
I mean, it's practically June.
Right, I hope so.
Fuck off.
I'm on holiday.
I'm not being funny. The way the time's working at the moment, it might as well be June.
Yeah.
Because the months are
feels
just
like
blending together.
Where are we? It's summer. Oh no!
Too hot.
Oh no, I didn't get ready for hot girl summer.
And now I want 10% a bikini.
I'll send you a private picture, it's fine.
Cool.
Only
Yes, so moving on.
I didn't agree
We
to this.
start off, yes, yes, we're recording. We are going to start off, as always, by finding out what we have been playing throughout this past week. I'm going to start with Bendy.
I don't want to talk anymore about it.
You're literally just going to wear the
She's
t-shirt.
just going to point
until you
her
finished it.
boobs, and that's
No.
fine with me.
We finished the storyline on Sunday, so the storyline's done. I really enjoyed the story. I that was really great, but how can you still be broken?
It's still broken.
How can you still be broken? I don't like. We beat the final boss, and my friend's achievement didn't pop. A final boss achievement did not pop for him. And so that means we have to go through the entire game again for him to get
Wow.
that achievement. And I had a few didn't pop at the beginning of the game, but that's fine. I only have to do a couple of acts to get those achievements with another character. We literally have to do the rest of the game. So why? And apparently PlayStation trophies have been fine. Absolutely fine. Nothing's been dodgy with them, but Xbox seems to just pop when they decide to pop. And it's really frustrating because, I want a sense of achievement by it going bloop. And you can, when you're in a game chat, you can hear everybody else's go bloop. And you're like, oh, where's mine?
Did I not do good?
Did the Lord of Achievement not come for me?
That's it. We have to get zonked on the case.
Clearly, I had annoyed zonked at some point because it just didn't come to me.
No,
but at the final boss, that's
Yeah.
really shitty. Really
I think
shitty.
even if you did annoy zonked, I don't think he'd ever begrudge you an achievement.
This is true.
He is a generous god.
Yeah,
He
he loves that sound too much. That's it.
So
Like-
I bet Zonk will be sad for me. But yeah, so I've completed the main storyline. I jumped into Hades again for a bit. Did a couple of runs of Hades. Still not great, but still think it's gorgeous. Just think that game is just beautiful. Might do a couple more runs again tonight to see how far I can get. My friend's given me some tips on what to go for when you're doing your runs, like to get your death defies up and stuff. So maybe I will complete it one day. Probably not. Yeah, so those are the only video games that I've played, but we don't talk about it much. But I do play a lot of D&D. I
Do? Do
I've
you?
never
I'm
heard
like,
this before. This is brand
No,
new
this is the
information.
first.
This all the time, and I just thought I played in my Curse of Strahd game on Sunday, and do you know what? I fucking love D&D, guys. It's so good.
Again, this is the first I've heard of this. I think you're lying to me that you played D&D.
Thought you'd have brought it up by now if you did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. We met like a mad mage, and that was fun. So we made stupid decisions because when do you not?
I was going to say that's just D&D.
So my character has this character flaw. We're doing the madness system, and like you roll on the madness table. For some reason, as a cleric, I always fail my sanity save, which is great. Always fail
Cool.
it. So I have a permanent character flaw of I think I'm the best, the most beautiful, the smartest, the most full of wisdom, just the best. And I've been playing it. I got it from like our first, like second session, I think, like just coming out of the death house. And I've been playing it so subtle, just like building up. And I just keep on making really, really stupid decisions that this character thinks is smart. But they're not smart because she's not smart. They're not smart in any way. So they're standing there like, yep, this is a really, really good decision. I'm going to do this. It has all the force and veracity of, I am going to do this action, even though I know this is going to be a mistake. So there was a mad mage, like a mage. He's absolutely mental. I thought, do you know what would be really, really good in this situation? I'm going to cast calm emotions on him because he's clearly in a bit of distress, right? He's talking to himself. He's not having a great time. I was just like, I'm just going to calm his emotions. I mean, my character, they thought it was the greatest idea in the world. He just went, wisdom save, please. And then they just went, no. Counter spell. And then they stopped. They turned me invisible for a little bit. They just went, counterspell, invisible. No one knew where I went, and my DM took me into the kitchen and went, this is what's just happened to you. They can still hear you, but they can't see you. I walk back in like, yep, okay. And then the DM just goes, and Pulchra disappears. And the table go, oh shit. What has happened to Pulchra? Where are they? And I was just like, I'm still here.
I'm a ghost.
Said that.
And like, I was like, can I touch them? And they're like, I poke Archie right next to you. This is why D&D is so fun. It's just so stupid. And I thought I'd just dip in and tell you a little bit of the fun that I had in my Curse of Strahd game. I want to kill Strahd.
Doesn't everyone?
Guy. Yeah. We're very, very far away from it because they're only level 5. But still, Strahd's a bastard.
Fair enough.
Never played it myself. I will like to do it at some point because it sounds like a fun campaign.
Maybe one day.
Maybe one day.
Anyway,
Excellent. Yes.
that's me. That's what I've been doing.
That's
Cool.
the band one.
So, Craig, what have you been playing? I mean, Nettle, what have you been playing this week?
So I feel like after what I tell you what I've been playing this week, you may be looking for a new member of the Unnamed Gaming podcast as I get ostracized. For I have started Elden Ring.
Thanks for joining us this week, guys. Rage quit.
Bendy just rage quit the podcast.
I hit my chandelier and now my hand hurts.
Excellent.
Playing it completely wrong though, because I don't want to fight anything, so I'm just stealthing my way through everywhere. Like, I'm going to crouch and walk slowly and go very far away from this enemy.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Are you enjoying it though? I know I
It's.
got melodramatic there.
I can see why people say it's a good one if people aren't necessarily good or have played Souls-like games before, because it does give you a good allowance on what characters. So I did my research, and everyone was like, if you haven't played a game like this before, do like a spellcaster one, because you can stand afar and you just waft your wand at them and start killing them that way. But it's like, I'm very bad at telemarks for attacks. So somebody, like Andy was just standing right next to me as I was doing the first couple of enemies. And I was like, how do you know that they're attacking? Like, they have the biggest sword waft in the world, and you have to, at some point, dodge through this waft at the right time. And I'm like, how the fuck? And he's like, it was right there, you can see it. I'm like, I can't see it. But it literally is having to die to the same thing over and over and over again before you go, oh no, I can see it. It's right there. Why am I thick? So I am only playing about a couple of hours at a time, because I am well aware of how frustrated I will get with this game. It's going to take me in the next 3 years to complete it, probably. So
Ring 2 will be out by then.
Exactly, it's slow progress, but it's interesting. It's fun. As a cosplayer, I'm more intrigued about all of the character designs and armor designs. Yeah, I'm happy to play this at my own pace, doing it a little bit at a time to get used to it. Do I think that if you don't like Souls-like games at all, you should play it? No. No. If it's still a Souls-like game, it is a Souls game. You still have to learn how to dodge at the right moment, specifically at the right moment, in order to go through somebody's attack. Are you going to die to the same enemy a million times? Yes. If that is not your cup of tea, you're not going to like it. But I thought, well, I'm intrigued. There's a couple of characters I want to cosplay, and I do have a rule that I will at least watch or play a little bit of the thing that I want to cosplay from, so I know it. So, I mean, if we're really going there, I'm only playing it because I want to cosplay characters. That's it.
You seem to have got stuck in though, so
yeah, I mean, I will, as I say, I will keep playing it. It will be fun, and I will, I'm sure, finish it at some point this year, but I am not rushing it, and I am not going to be like a sweat that's like, I will absolutely do this and I will become the Elden Lord. No, I'm quite happy just kind of trundling through and meeting things as I do.
Yeah, see, I've watched countless playthroughs of it. It does look like an interesting game to play.
It's gorgeous, yeah.
But I just know full well that I'd be constantly angry. I'm surprised at the fact that I haven't actually raged at Hades yet.
Hades, I think, although you do get killed, there is that certain zeal of, I'm going to come back and I'm going to stab you so many times that you're going to have a hole in your face.
I think what kind of makes me not worried about dying is the whole fact that every time you come back, there's new dialogue, there's new story being evolved. So, like, you're not dying, coming back for nothing, going again. You're getting rewarded for not actually completing the thing. You're getting lore, you're getting conversation.
Yeah, absolutely.
The ability to upgrade, like
yeah, which I only just worked out this morning that you use Titan Blood to upgrade your weapon. So I'm only 12 hours into the game.
I was going to say, you got that far without upgrading any weapons. You're doing pretty well.
Well, saying that, I beat the bosses of Elysium today.
Hey!
Then got past Cerberus, straight to Hades. Got him down to 2/3 of health. I had no death defies when I got to him. I was not expecting to get there, but I was like, I've got to Hades. I'm on 27 deaths. And the last death I'm bitter at. My batteries died in my controller while I was fighting the bosses in Elysium. And I beat the Minotaur.
Are they the one? Yeah, the Minotaur and
Theseus. Yeah.
Saw my friend do Theseus and the Minotaur the other day.
Yeah.
and the Bone Hydra because I've never got that far. So I know what's coming and I know how to do things. I'm just not good enough at it. I'll just wait until God mode gives me 100%.
Do you know what? It seems like I have got people coming in and talking to me, and I feel like I'm actually doing it at like quite a fast pace, which scares me a little because
I believe in you. Your next run, you're gonna beat Hades.
the worst thing is
Do it.
the run that I got to Hades on. Oh no, sorry, my first run, I was this close to beating the bosses in Elysium, but I kind of wasted my death defiers. I had all my death defiers in that fight, and I just literally let them pound me for like the middle one. Otherwise, I'd have done it. But I think what helped me in my run with when I actually got to Hades was just the boons I got. I had Weak and Hangover, and I had Athena's Call, which when fills the bar up, gives you deflect and makes you invulnerable for like 5 seconds or something. So you just
smack them.
Yeah. Oh, mate.
I think the trick, apparently the trick with Theseus and the Minotaur is go for the Minotaur. Get the Minotaur down first because you can dodge out of the way because Theseus is ranged. So get him down, and because you're not then worried about his big attacks. So just like go in, fly out, dodge out of the way of the Theseus, and
That's pretty much what I did this morning. I just concentrated on the Minotaur and then
although I
went
don't
into
know when they're
Theseus
working
after.
together.
Yeah, because there are
Seems a
enemies
bit
in.
weird.
It seems like they
in
must.
IRL.
They've got respect for each other in death, and they've become best buds. They did the whole like Predator thing, like that.
Yeah.
When they met up,
The arms.
Theseus, you son of a bitch. Because they met up in Elysium.
I can imagine the Minotaur just holding up his arm. Theseus, you son of a bitch.
Yeah. But yeah, no, that was cool. Have you played anything else now? I
We
realised we
played.
kind of stolen your section.
You play a bit of Hades.
They don't want me. Like this is just the beginning of the end now. They don't want me here because I played Elden Ring.
Elden Ring.
What's going to happen is Tempus is going to play Elden Ring as well. You're going to get him to play Elden Ring, and I'm going to be the only one who hasn't played Elden Ring, and I'm going to be like, well, they don't need me anymore. And
It's fine. Craig won't play Elden Ring.
We played a bit more Phasmophobia again on the weekend. It's had about three updates since we last played it.
Looks really good now.
It's looking good. They've done a good job with things.
Apart from the house rearrangement.
Yeah, some of the house rearrangements we weren't so happy with, but I think that's more of a, oh, it's new, I don't like it.
Why have you put the kitchen over here?
This is not what I'm used to.
Nothing to do with the ghosts. It's the house layout that gets us to quit.
I don't know how new this, but the smashing of the light bulbs, I'm not a fan of it. Not that it's a bad thing, but I shat myself every time I was in a house with a light bulb that smashed.
Boo.
Yeah, literally. It would go for the thing where it pretends to hunt. And we were all like, panic! Run down the hallway! I ran down a hall and he smashed the light right over my head and I screamed and was like, this is death, I'm dead. But
I think it's the new when the lights flash red in the room.
Yes, that happened when I was in a bathroom in a farmhouse and I was just screaming, it's gonna kill me, it's red, it's gonna kill me.
So, yeah, I think they've done.
Yeah.
It goes to like what, Halloween we played it?
Yeah, I think it was at Christmas actury. I think it was
Christmas.
I think we played it at Christmas.
Yeah, I remember we talking about it in December.
Well, still, I mean, 4 months still.
It's still 4 months since we last played it. They're keeping it fresh. They're doing a good job of keeping it fresh, I think.
Yeah.
But that is it for what I played this week.
You can see that they're working hard on it to make it look cleaner and everything. So, and walking down the stairs, as soon as you walk into the house, to have a saw thrown at you and you die.
Somebody went towards the Ouija board.
Yeah,
And
I
it-
didn't even talk to the Ouija board.
I think Hull accidentally turned the Ouija board on and said something and thought it was a question, and they got it wrong, like completely
No, she
wrong.
did ask. No,
she did ask it a question. Well, there you go.
She
That'll
asked
do.
her where it was. Before it even finished saying where it was, I went downstairs because I knew where that was, and it met me at the bottom of the stairs to murder me.
It didn't like that.
Not you. Anyway,
what about you, Temp?
yes.
Yeah,
So
what
obviously,
you
been playing Hades.
really?
I know, strange, unlike me, innit? I've restarted playing Monster Hunter World
Oh.
from the start, new character. So I do enjoy that game, very good, but it's good fun. And obviously, the main thing really was I played the Overwatch 2 beta. Because, yes, I got a code.
At last.
Or whatever it was.
What, 4.5 hours worth of
4
gameplay
hours of a
and
stream.
watch?
But,
Yeah.
you know, lucky enough, we were podcasting last week when that was.
You
When
had
I
it
was
on the
watching it, so I
background.
was busy. But, yeah, I mean, it looks really good. It looks clean. You can see how I think I only played like tank twice, but you can kind of see the free reign the tank has now. They're almost just like a bulkier DPS. The worst part is there's no protection for supports now, so supports are literally just being dived by everything, including tanks, I may add, because they've got no one to peel and help them or anything. So I think that's the big takeaway from that at the moment. I mean, I know it's in a beta and that, and it's not really much different to playing the main game at the moment, but queue times were a little long. And the funny thing is the priority pass has gone from DPS to tank now because there's only one of them in the game. But I've had a little play. I don't think I'm going to be playing any more of it while it's on. I'm going to wait for when it releases on the console, because the only problem is where I play with controller. In Overwatch, for some reason, they have no aim assist for controllers when you're playing against people with mouse and keyboard.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. It's very odd considering you have aim assist in like Warzone and other stuff. So I wasn't, I was managing to hit some shots and things like that, but I could tell that I was missing shots that should have. I mean, I say I should have been hitting, but obviously the controller does the fucking work for me, really. But I could tell the difference between playing with like that little bit of assist to not, because I was struggling with even what shots I did feel like I should be hitting, I wasn't getting, and I don't want that to spoil my want to play Overwatch 2 when it comes out. So
yeah.
But I mean, that's probably like the only real complaint I had about it, but that's mostly because of the fact that it's my choice to play on controller, not mouse and keyboard. That and Doomfist still just won't die.
So, I was listening to another podcast the other day.
How dare
I
you?
also listen to podcasts as well as record one. Well, I'll shout them out. Super Show. Go and listen to them if you want to. They were saying about how different it is to Overwatch 1. Do you think this warrants 2? Or is it just an update?
Well, the fact is, when Overwatch 2 launches, if you own Overwatch 1, you will get an update that will give you 5v5 like you're getting, and you'll be able to play with people that have got Overwatch 2. The only things you're not getting is the new PvE stuff and any new maps and game mode, which is the push, because they're set for like the better system, whatever they're using, I think it is. But you can still play with people that have got Overwatch 1. So technically, you could probably say that this could have just been a massive update for Overwatch. But I think they're I mean, you can tell just by looking at it. I know Overwatch has been out for a while, but it's so much cleaner. Like everything just looks brilliant.
But is it going to be worth the 60 quid price tag that it's probably going to have?
I mean, I think the main draw for Overwatch 2, I don't even think the PvP stuff is the main draw now. I think everyone's waiting for these PvE things that, I mean, from the stuff we've played already, like the Storm Rising, Uprising, Retribution stuff, like the PvE story bits, and like they're concentrating so hard on this. I think that's going to be your main draw because you can replay them, and as you play through them, like obviously you get your base hero abilities and stuff when you're playing the game, but when you do PvE, you actually level up the heroes you play, and you can change their abilities.
Interesting.
So Tracer's ultimate, when you've leveled her up, it'll unlock something, and you can change it. Like there's a chain one. You hit someone with it, and it'll blow up. It'll hit a few people around, like do like little chain explosions. So it kind of, they're giving you something to go back and replay them for as well, because of all the heroes you can play. They've all got stuff to unlock and change the way they play. There are 6 points on, like if you go to Gibraltar now, instead of it just being where Winston was hanging about and it's a bit of a mess, it's all clean set up. There's a massive big screen with like a world map on it, and there's now like a 3D table with points on it from around the world. And like we know full well that these 6 are at least PvE stories they've got going, because one of them is Rio, which is the one that they showed off when they first announced Overwatch 2. So we know that they've got at least 6 in the work. I don't think you're going to get 6 when we start. I think you'll get 1 or 2, and I think they'll release them periodically. Maybe when you get a new hero or something.
There's only 2 new heroes, though, right?
There's only 1 at the moment, which is Sojourn, who is actually really good. Like I can't actually wait to get to the problem was I enjoyed playing her, but I just couldn't do anything with her because I couldn't hit anyone. And that's, again, that's my problem. But when I get it on my console, I think she'll be great. And this was like, I think this was the biggest thing I said. My friend Bandit, when I was talking to her about it when we was playing it, she was like, "What do you think of it?" And I was like, "Well, kind of my one big takeaway from this is Soldier needs nothing, because he literally just kills anyone. Because you've only got like 2 characters with a barrier now. So if you haven't got a barrier, he's literally just in the back line, just killing supports and the other DPS. Like unless you've got someone else kind of going after him, he's so quick at killing people. He's disgusting at the moment. But I mean, this is the reason for the beta. They let it out, they get their feedback, and they'll go back and work on stuff now. But I mean, if it was me personally, I wouldn't want to. I kind of feel like it would be better off as like a £35 to £40 game. Overwatch 2. That's the kind of price I'd like to pay for it. I know that's not going to be what it'll be because it's Overwatch 2. And at the same time, I feel like it could have just been maybe like even if you just pay, like they did their changes to Overwatch 1. If you wanted to upgrade to Overwatch 2, just pay £20 and it's like a massive DLC update.
So it does feel a bit DLC rather than a whole new game. Even with the PvE, I think that's an add-on. I don't think that warrants a whole new game, especially if you're not overhauling everything and releasing just new maps. Because you got 2 new maps, right? And
3 new maps. 3 new maps, 1 new hero, and a new game mode. And they've taken out C2C. Not C2C, that's a train line. 2CP, that's it. You can still play that, apparently, if you do it in custom modes, and I feel like it's going to be an arcade somewhere, so they're not getting rid of the maps entirely. But I mean,
did you say that they looked much cleaner?
Yeah, I think they've upgraded the
that
engine.
sounds like an engine update, which means so. Here's your technical news for today. When you do an update in your engine, like for a new DLC or even a new game, you have to rename everything that you're doing for it. You can't have it as the same prefabs as the first one, which is probably why everything's called Overwatch 2, which is probably why the game is called Overwatch 2.
Yeah, I guessed it was. I mean, they obviously had their reasons for doing it, and I mean, I won't begrudge the fact that they want to charge a premium rate for the game, considering everything that they give you afterwards is free. All the maps, all the heroes, all the PvE stuff, all of that is going to be free for the rest of the time you play it.
Is it though?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I, mean, I say yeah. Like this is how
what
it
we've
works in
been
Overwatch.
told.
Well, this is what it was all through normal Overwatch. You paid for it, and everything that they brought out, the only thing you ever had to pay extra for was if you wanted loot boxes.
Yeah, loot boxes.
And from what I've seen, like I don't know how true this is, not loot boxes, but they're going to be doing a battle pass, which I quite think would work really well with Overwatch, considering how good they are with skins and stuff.
Yeah.
And can you imagine like a season that runs 3 months, and at the end of the and they bring out a hero or a PvE thing every new season? At least then you'd have a kind of countdown for when things are coming along.
Yeah.
But I mean, like I said, it's the beta, and we can.
It might change a fair bit before it comes out with this. This is why they're doing the beta, so they can tell what people are going to want.
Well, you look at the amount of. Well, I mean, the league starts on Thursday tomorrow. This is Thursday. Sorry, yeah. So the Thursday just gone. Overwatch League Season 5 starts, and they're using the Overwatch 2 beta. So, if anything, this will be the big tell on what things need to change. Because if the pro teams are just running riot on it, like people are just like they're not even getting a chance, they're going to know they need to fix something. Although they have actually had to take Hammond out of it because apparently he's far too powerful. Yeah, he's broken at the minute. He's literally causing people to disconnect from the game. So
that's my boy.
Oh, Andy, bring me one, please.
Afraid he's disappeared into the ether. He has to go back and charge again. Once he makes one cup of tea, that drains him. So I have to plug him back in again.
Just boom. Excellent. So that was what I've been playing this week.
Off the back of that, I found it really funny that the only way you can get the Overwatch 2 beta is by watching people play 4 hours of Overwatch 2 so they can boost their Twitch numbers.
I mean, yeah.
So everybody's talking about Overwatch 2. It worked!
It's a good way of doing it. Drop keys are a really good way of getting people to talk and watch your game on Twitch.
Because they were the second consecutive watcher base last week or something like that.
Probably.
Yeah. I mean, I think it'd have been nicer if it had just been random drops.
Yeah.
While you were watching people, they just randomly put out some drops like every hour or something. But I mean, and that's
guaranteed if you do watch the whole time. So.
And that's the thing as well. As soon as those 4 hours are up, everyone then went to go and play the game, and it crashed. Blizzard Battle.net crashed Battle.net.
This doesn't surprise me.
So this was the issue with because everyone would have been watching that. Well, I say more or less everyone, but the majority of people that got keys would have been watching those streams from the start. So as soon as those 4 hours were up, they said they gave out like 1,500 keys in that after that first 4 hours. Imagine 1,500 people then trying to get onto Battle.net to play. So I didn't play that night. I thought to myself, no, I'm just gonna wait, play it fresh. Yeah. So, anywho, I think we've had a varied bunch of games this week between us. And
I'll try and play some more, but I am got a full weekend of D&D.
It's fine. You play what you want to play.
And you know what? You can't finish your cosplays.
Hey, I'm taking them with me. And I'm doing all the hands. You laugh. A few weeks ago, I took my hat to hand sew the trim on the hat while we were playing because I knew I wouldn't get it done.
Well, I think it's time for the news.
Time for the news.
Time for the news. Nettle.
So, my news this week is that Embracer Group, which are a very large multimedia group, have taken over a lot of things. A lot! So they are acquiring Eidos, Crystal Dynamics, Square Enix Montreal, and that is not that is not all of it. That is just the bigger ones. So they will have Tomb Raider, Deus Ex, Thief, Legacy of Kain, all that kind of shiz. They bought.
Thief came out.
Sorry, Thief.
I'm just thinking about Thief.
I'm going to get that. But they bought them for apparently $300 million.
There's
Small change.
just money being splashed around the gaming industry right now, right? There's just money, have money.
I'm just gonna buy all the AAA studios, yeah, because that's literally what's
all
happened.
All of these are Mr. Krabs, and they're like.
Apparently, I think is it Eidos Interactive is still going to have input into any new Tomb Raiders?
I mean, I think they have to because they own the IP, but this is becoming an endemic now. Like, you cannot have a media group take over that many studios. You can't. This is ridiculous. There has to be some neutrality. There has to be a division between these things, or everything just ends up the same and we end up having no competition. By the sounds of it, nobody's losing their jobs, which is good. Although, watch that space, because they say that a lot anyway. But, who's next?
There's rumours that the Blizzard, Activision Blizzard Microsoft thing might not go through. So although it's been signed off by the shareholders now, it's now going out to all the
like an ombudsman, isn't it?
Yeah, to check that they're not going to then have a monopoly on the marketplace or how that's going to look. And they were talking about, okay, I work in finance, but I don't actually get it. I understand, if you give me a set of management accounts, I could tell you if your company's solvent or not, but I can't tell you about stocks and shares. But I don't understand. But apparently the share price at the moment is less than the share price that they're going to sell at when it goes through, which indicates that, and the fact that nobody is buying the shares indicates that people don't think it's going to go through. Because if you think that you can buy shares at a lower amount now, to then in a few months' time when this acquisition goes through, to then get them at a higher price, it makes sense to buy them if you think you're actually going to be able to get that price when it's sold. So I think there's going to be a stop to that acquisition.
So just to put it in perspective for the Embracer Group, by the way, they are 10 operative groups consisting of 124 internal studios and publishers, and an overall group has a total of 14,000 employees. Now, the reason why this is actually quite bad, thinking about it in that point of view, is if that parent group goes under and a number of the subsidiary operative groups go under, that's 14,000 people out of a job.
You're unlikely to have it trickle down that far. They would end up selling assets before it got.
They would, absolutely, but that is the absolute worst case scenario. But that's still a horrible situation, and why it shouldn't be allowed. You should not have that amount of employees underneath you. It's just stupid.
I mean, it's just so much work. when you have that many employers underneath you.
So
I
yes,
think
they're
it's the sheer number of things they actually bought as well.
and they're all
It's
within
not-
the last 3 years. I'd like to point out.
It's like they're not just buying like one little studio. Like there are some big games going to them now.
Yeah, so their parent groups are Amplify Game Investment by I don't know who they're. Asmodee, I don't know their. Coffee Stain, we know. Coffee Stain have done a fair few things.
Asmodee, is it double E?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're like a board game company.
There you
They
go.
make board games and stuff.
There you go. Dark Horse Media, which we know for comic books. DECA Games. Again, there's a few groups under there. I don't know that. Easy Brain. Gearbox Entertainment, who we all know.
Yes.
I saw the chest go out there.
I don't think I know them.
I don't know who they are.
Embrace a group.
No idea. Never played any Gearbox games in my life.
No idea. Koch Media, Saber Interactive, Koch. Don't. We're professionals. Don't be so rude. And THQ Nordic, which again you'll know.
Oh no, that's Saban, isn't it?
Saber Interactive.
Oh no, I was thinking Power Rangers, but I think that's Saban, isn't it, or whatever.
Jesus.
Anyway.
And THQ Nordic, who also have the big Gunfire Games stuff, so
They own
that's
a lot of, like, IPs, because THQ bought a load of IPs, didn't they?
Yep, THQ Nordic obviously have the Darksiders IP.
They have the Kingdoms of Reckoning Amalur. The Kingdoms of Amalur Reckoning, that's what it's called.
The point we're trying to make is that they have a lot of IPs under their belt, and that is a lot of games that could just disappear should they choose to. Should they choose to say we don't want to make these things anymore, they will just go into non-existence.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. Smoke bomb. So it's concerning. Like I was having fun with it when you know Blizzard and Microsoft decided to have a little get together, and it made me laugh when Bungie and Sony decided to kind of do a little dodgy back deal. But now it's getting silly. I don't want all of my studios to be under this all-encompassing massive studio. It just doesn't work like that. Yeah, please stop buying IPs and let the little people get on with their world and jobs.
Thing is, like, you got to look at it now. If Nintendo just turned around and bought whatever was left, you'd have like the four corners of gaming. Oh, is this what's left? We'll have that.
It's
like when you go to a bric-a-brac sale, it's just like, oh, there's only a few things left. I'll just take that.
Yeah.
This is the gaming building, right? Okay, so they're like cornering off all the three corners, and there's Nintendo that just gone, I don't want to do that, and throw a bomb in it, and it's just a hole in the side of the building, and then just Mario walking away from the explosion, like, I'm cool.
What, like in the when he blows up the castle? He just walks away from it.
Princess ain't in that castle.
I don't need that castle then. Boom. I'm a plumber. I'm also in demolition.
Yeah. But yeah,
I'm gonna investigate how many jobs Mario has had. Just because, it's a bit dodgy, right?
Tax evasion.
He was on like a trade, like trustatrade.com or whatever. He's like, yeah, I do all of this, and I bet he's got like 1 star. It's like, blew up my house, told me like. Asked me where the princess was. I said it's not in this castle, and then he just left the job.
I literally,
star.
I found him trying to
get down
my
plumbing.
toilet high on mushrooms.
I found a carcass of a dragon on my lawn when I came home one day.
My plants were trampled.
I hadn't asked for that. I wanted a patio.
He told me dragon scales are really good for patios, but then never came back.
And the tangent. Excellent.
Excellent.
Yeah. So,
Talking about Nintendo, though.
yes. Oh,
I
do
got
you have
tiny-
news?
I got tiny. This is like the small, tiny, weeny little news. So there was a little leak that came out.
I'm sorry, I need to go to the toilet, but I didn't quite make it.
a little wee that came out.
just came out.
So the voice of Duruk, I can't find his name here, so apologies. Citation needed. In an interview with Eurogamer, had told Eurogamer that he recorded some new voice lines that are possibly for Breath of the Wild 2. So it shows a bit about the story, that the story is most likely going to include Breath of the Wild 1's champions. So you'll have Revali, Mifa, Duruk, and Urbosa. Also in Breath of the Wild 2. So that was a little leak that came out that showing a bit of possible story for Breath of the Wild 2.
I don't want to spoil Breath of the Wild 1 for anybody, but doesn't something happen to Mifa?
Okay, it came out in 2017. If you don't want spoilers,
here's your 5-second warning. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Shut up, Tempusbe.
They're all dead anyway.
Yeah.
What? I haven't played it yet.
They were all dead. Like they weren't around for that game. It's all flashback and memories and stuff. So
right.
They are all ghosts. So I don't know how it's going to work because I believe it's afterwards. So maybe it's another like flashback memory because they had a lot of time together. And if you played Hyrule Warriors, you'll know that they met and they did stuff before then the beginning of Breath of the Wild happened. So you might have flashbacks to those stories is what I'm kind of hoping. And we're back. And the Master Sword in that trailer looks gnarly. So let's see what happens. Just give me the game, please.
Bendy wants the game. And Nettie will just be very happy with the title right now because Breath of the Wild 2 is not a fucking title.
No, it's the Unnamed sequel to Breath of the Wild.
Breath of the Wild 2.
Breath of the Wild 2. I know they've delayed it and it is going to be spring next year, and I'm glad they've delayed it so that we can get a great game out of it. And we know what Nintendo are like. They don't tend to release games with a lot of jank. So maybe they just needed that extra time to make sure there wasn't.
Yeah.
I think they just wanted a year's holiday.
I was going to say, they probably just were just like...
Game's ready.
The game's
can be released today.
Finished. They're just on holiday.
I mean, let them have it.
They're all on holiday actually playing the game. Oh, on like a secret island. Oh.
No, Craig!
Craig, you failure.
So bad. Everybody's clothes are just on the floor.
Well, I mean, do we try and get him back in?
Is he going to be a dick? Dick.
Quick intermission, guys.
Don't forget to get your snacks, guys.
Now recording.
Now recording.
What do you call this, Craig? Seriously.
Come on, mate.
You can't just hop out to the loo whenever you want.
We told you. This is staying in for your embarrassment.
Okay, this is going on your annual review.
Yeah. To be fair, we did say before we got back last week that if you started mucking about again, we'd find a replacement.
Watch yourself.
Not saying anything, just staring blankly at. Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Unbelievable.
His eyes are a little bit wonk.
Oh, I know. It's so endearing, though.
Well.
Right.
Well, looking forward to it.
Bit of Breath of the Wild.
So, yes.
They're going to give us little bits every so often with this, aren't they? Just keeping us sweet every couple of months.
Pretty much. They just want to remind you that the game is still going to, come out at some point. So.
Yeah. Or maybe they'll just go, here we go. and then just run away, and it'll be like at Christmas.
Smoke bomb. Bye.
Well, speaking of games that
Okay, that's all we do.
potentially might come out,
That
who
is our-
remembers Prince of Persia: The Sands of Time remake that they were working on that was supposed to come out in 2021?
No.
No shit. This is the article. It also says about Prince of Persia.
Look at that.
Of my news. Of my news.
Carry on.
Anyway, so basically, in September 2020, Ubisoft announced that it was remaking The Sands of Time. But instead of using the original developer, Ubisoft Montreal, they were going to give it to Ubisoft Pune, I'm going to say Pune, and Ubisoft Mumbai to handle the development. It was originally set for release in January 2021. And at the end of 2020, they said it would be delayed by 2 months. 3 months later, they announced the Sands of Time remake was delayed indefinitely. So, like, we've been, 18 months almost
Yeah.
since that. And it has just been revealed on the 3rd of May, so yesterday, from the Twitter account, that the workings on the remake are still happening, but they've gone back to Ubisoft Montreal,
Oh, look how that worked out.
the original development team. But they said on their tweet, the development of Prince of Persia: The Sands of Time remake will now be led by Ubisoft Montreal, the very birthplace of the epic Sands of Time trilogy. A statement, no, not that bit. This decision is an important step, and the team building upon the work achieved by Ubisoft Pune and Ubisoft Mumbai will now take the time they need to regroup on the scope of the game to deliver you the best experience for this remake of an all-time classic when it's ready. We want to thank you all for your continuous support and patience throughout the development. Rest assured that we will update you on the progress in a future update. Now, obviously, yes. Thanks, Gus, contributing. Obviously, no mention of a release date or anything. But apparently, it's still in the works. But I love it. It's one of them things where I'm like, a month or 2 months before it was supposed to be released, they were just like, oh, yeah, we're delaying it because, we're not quite ready. And we're like, what, 18 months on almost. And they're like, actually, we're going to give it to another studio to work on. So it doesn't bode well for those 2 studios that were working on it this whole time, does it?
No, fortunately not.
No.
But yeah, so I mean, if you was looking forward to that, because when I played it originally, when it came out, it was like, it was like it was basically the start of that kind of parkour climbing like game, wasn't it? Really, it was the first of its kind. It birthed it as such, and it wasn't a terrible game, but like I remember when they first announced it and they showed a trailer from the remake, and it just looks terrible. But I mean, I'm kind of hoping that all of this time that they've now taken to do it, that it just doesn't turn out to be crap, like utter crap.
Well, we'll have to wait and see on that one. But I feel like there's a
Yeah.
reason why the Indian studios had it taken off them. I mean,
They were obviously not.
Equipped.
They were either not hitting their markers, or they were just like struggling with it for whatever reason. But then the fact that it's 2 studios working on this one game, and they couldn't get it done to the point that like they've had to give it to another studio. That's what I mean. It's quite worrying that.
what are they doing to this game that's causing it to be such a problem for these
Yeah.
developers to be able to develop it properly? It worries me when I hear stuff like that because, you know, Ubisoft Pune have been around for like 13 years. Mumbai has only been around since 2018.
They're fairly new.
Yeah, they're fairly new, but this feels like it might be. Is this a staffing problem? You know, are they basically doing what everybody does when they go to India and not actually paying their staff enough and having this massive turnover, which is causing an issue?
Well,
Something's going on in the background there.
Yeah. I mean, they're obviously still want this game to be made and released. Because otherwise they could, like, at this point, I wasn't even thinking about it until I see this bit of news. You know, they could have just left it dead and buried.
Yeah.
But they want it made. They want it out there. They must think that there's some kind of demand for Prince of Persia. But maybe it's in the right studio's hands now. Then it's
Montreal for sure. I mean,
Yeah.
they are probably the biggest, best equipped Ubisoft studio. Most well known, that's for sure.
Yeah. Well, hopefully it's in good hands now, and it might actually see the light of day one day.
Yeah.
But yes, that was our news.
Yay, news.
That was our news. Now, the topic of the week. Like I've worded this. It might not. Again, I've worded this probably terribly, but the question that I kind of set out to my fellow hosts was, let me just get it up in front of me. Where are you, running order? There you are. So when do live events like expos and cons go from being about the gaming and the content to basically just a glorified market? When it like I'll kind of start off here because I've been thinking about this a little bit earlier. From my point of view, I've only been to I've been to a couple of the MCMs that are now the Comic Cons, and like this kind of made going to WASD the other week made me kind of think about this because I really liked WASD. Yes, it was their first year. Yes, it was fairly small, but it was primarily all about the gaming. There was a couple of little stalls, but there wasn't a lot of people. Like, there wasn't a lot of basically. I'm not saying merch is a bad thing in these things. People have got to make a living. They've got, and people like merch. But like, I went from MCM when it used to be called MCM, the XL in London, and it was all about they had the Ghostbusters car in the entranceway, and I think this is like 14 years ago, something like that. I went, and yeah, showing my age. But like, you had like, it was a few booths and that here for merch and stuff, but it was primarily like showing off video games and showing off films and TV stuff. And like, there was a Battlestar Galactica thing that you could go and, like, a panel you could just go and sit in. Didn't need a ticket, just went and sat there and you ask questions to like the crew in there. And then when I went a few years back to Comic Con, it literally just felt like a hall filled with stalls. There wasn't really anything else of note to pick up on. And like, this is kind of going into where I was starting. The main one I've ever been to is the UK Games Expo, which is a board games and RPG expo. It happens once a year in Birmingham. I went when it was like in its second or third year, so very still early on. And it was hosted in the ground floor of a hotel. And it was in separate rooms. So I think there was like 4 rooms. One of them was like the largest one in the middle. I will say that was like the stalls, because people go there to buy games and buy RPGs and stuff. But you had like a play area where you could just sit and play games, and you also had like 2 rooms that were literally full of play testers. people wanting you to sit and try their new games for Kickstarter, or people that had a game that was coming out soon and wanted to get you like interested in it in the hopes that you might buy it. And we played and tried so many games. And I went every year for like the next 5 years, I think it was. And I've only stopped going because of the pandemic. But as it got bigger and bolder, they moved to the NEC. And they still had the hotel, but they was using that for like competitions and stuff. Because like they had X-Wing competitions and Magic the Gathering and things like that. But in the NEC, every year they basically had the whole of one side in the last year I was there. And yes, I understand these things grow and get bigger, so you need bigger space. That's fine. I'm not saying that they shouldn't grow. I like that they grow. But it's the fact that it went from all these wonderful little Kickstarter playtester style games everywhere to they had a hall which was half filled with empty tables for you to sit and play games on. There was a few playtesters here and there. The majority of it, like literally, probably I just said like 90% of it there was then just stalls. And I think that's kind of when I started to lose interest in going, because I was just looking around the stalls, seeing the same games and stuff all the time, and there would, like I said, there would be the odd playtest area, playtest game and stuff, but it just didn't feel as like, I'm not saying they didn't care about the games or anything like that, but it just felt like it was you were getting more and more people going there to sell their games than you was getting people to go and try and get you to try and play games, like, and test them and things like that. You know, there was this one group we met in the first year we went. They were from London. They'd designed a game about football. Brilliant game. We got talking to them, we played it, and we bought the game between us and everything. And then we went back the next year, and they remembered us. And we sat and we played their new game. We went back the next year, remembered us. We sat, we played their new game. And as the years went on, like the last few years, didn't see them. They didn't come in. And like obviously there could be other reasons. They might have not been able to financially carry on playing games because they basically relied on people buying these games. But that's kind of when it felt sad to me that people that we'd kind of got to know and look forward to talking to all the time, because they were really nice people, whether it's the fact that going to the NEC, the prices increased for a plot and stuff like this, it just felt like this, it became more of a mainstream thing than having some up and comers or new people be able to come in and show some stuff. But it's difficult. I know it's difficult because at the end of the day, it's all about getting people to come to your event.
Yeah. So, I have been going to MCM Comic-Con since 2012. So slightly after you first gone, but I consistently went twice a year, every year since 2012, pretty much. And there was this weird lag for a couple of years where I think the original owners had decided they really couldn't be bothered anymore. But it was before Reed Pop took it over, where it did become this just very boring place where you either went to cosplay or you went to shop. But they stopped having proper talks and interesting things happening. And then as soon as Reed Pop took over, it completely changed it. It became this all-inclusive interactive expo to which you went to cosplay. There is still shopping areas, but there is also a book, an indie artist area, which is books and artists and all sorts, where they get specifically set up so you can go and look at their stuff. There are free talks, there are ticketed talks, so you can go to either or. There's showcases here, there, and everywhere now. This is in London, mind you. Birmingham is still a bit more of a shopping mall, really, when you go. But London, there's an awful lot happening at any one point. And they've just included, obviously, because they took over EGX as well. They've just included a load of games, which is ironically how I managed to get my ticket. So there's a lot happening there now, and I think it feels less like you're paying 80 quid to go in, but I think you're getting your money's worth from it in one way or another now. Whereas before, and I think this is what a lot of people, when they complain about the prices going up, don't quite realise, is they were paying, they may have been paying £10 less before the pandemic, but they were also getting like 50% less. So yeah, MCM used to be like that. It did at one point. It just felt like you were paying your 70 quid for the weekend, and you were just going shopping in cosplay in our mine and Bendy's experience. But EGX, I will say, has always been, yes, it's always had stalls and stuff, but it has always been the thing that has so many games that you don't know what to do with yourself with it, as well as having talks, free talks. They're first come, first serve, but they're free talks.
So, yeah, just thinking of the convention I've been to, so the smaller ones are the ones that will have the stalls, because that's what they're aiming for. But when you're getting into big expo territory, like, because didn't EGX used to be Eurogamer?
Yes, Eurogamer.
And that is an expo. So they are there to show off stuff. Games. That's what they're supposed to do. They're not a convention. They are not there. They're not there to be a convention. They are there to show off new media. And yeah, I love EGX because of that. And I think a couple of times that I've been to MCM, like previous years, it's like, I'm just here because of the cosplay and seeing my friends. That's all I'm here for. Whereas when we go to EGX, it's like, yes, I'm also in costume, but I want to go on that, and I want to go and see that game, and I want to go and line up for that game, and there's a Travelator. What's that about? What's going on over there? Let's go and get in that queue and see what happens. And it has, and it's sad to hear about that Games Expo, because board games, I think, it would be great for that kind of environment. Like, being able to just go down and sit, like they do have a section at EGX for board games. It's quite a small section, so maybe they could look at maybe expanding that a bit. But yeah, being able to go and play test games to then possibly buy them, rather than just having a stall full of games, it doesn't really make sense.
I mean, I liked it because I'm not saying they didn't have playtesting in the bigger things. It just it didn't feel like the first couple of years when it was just in the hotel. You could kind of feel the segregation between where you wanted to buy stuff and where you wanted to try stuff. Whereas now everything was kind of just like, you need a big stall, you're here. You need a small stall, you're here. It was all kind of together. There was things to play, but the majority of things that were play testing were games that were kind of already big and already out for like a couple of years and things like this. So they were just there to try and sell their stuff.
Sounds like an organizational problem for those event people, organizers. It sounds like it would be easy to split things up in the NEC. Like, you have the N7 or whatever, you make that the sales end, and you make that where all the sales stalls are, and then you do the one next to it, you block it off, and you go, this is the play area, this is where you go and have a play. And then maybe it doesn't fill up the whole thing, and then you just put a bouncy castle in there.
Do you remember when MCM used to have the fairground rides?
Apparently they're coming back. There was one recently.
Shock face from Nettle for those listening.
What was the one that we didn't go to? Insomnia,
yeah.
Somewhere had fairground rides at a convention that we didn't go to. And the only one I can think of is Insomnia. Anyway, fairground rides.
Yeah. So Note to any conventions, fairground rides.
Fairground rides.
But also, I can organise your stuff for you. Hire me, thank you. I have no experience in event management, but also I'm not dumb. That just sounds dumb.
You know, she's a quick learner.
I'm a quick learner.
Like,
I'm smarter than a quick
please,
learner.
Like-
somebody hire me.
She can multitask. You heard her fixing a cosplay while D&Ding.
And I still roleplayed real well.
Wow. She incorporated the sewing into her character.
To be fair, that character has just got proficiency in taxidermy tools, so taxidermy.
Bendy organised my bridesmaids. Project management at its ultimate.
we did. I mean, the bridesmaids were great. They were just, yeah.
They turned up.
They turned up.
They turned up.
Turned up. Yeah.
Job was done.
Job was done. We had tea. It was fun.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I think the thing that kind of made me think about this was just how much I enjoyed WASD.
Yeah.
You want more board games. You just want a board game version.
Want a board game WASD.
It's not. No, it's not even that. Like that. Those, like I said, those first couple of years where it was just in this little hotel, because of the fact that you was in a hotel, it felt completely different to anything else. You weren't in like a big, cold, almost warehouse. You know,
It's
you was in
basically
this
a warehouse, yeah.
Yeah, you cozy carpets. There was a bar. There was, it was really nice, and it felt, it really felt like it was something the organisers really, and that I won't take anything away from them. They really do work hard on this. As soon as it finishes, they spend like they're in the next day for a meeting for the next year to get it going. But like the first year, like they had, you do have cosplay and stuff when you're there as well, because why wouldn't you? Because you got your tabletop and your Warhammer and things like that. But like the first year we were there, they actually had like a cosplay competition on, and they had is it Craig Barry? Chris Barry.
Chris Barry.
Chris Barry.
You're getting them
Yeah.
put together.
Craig.
It's, Craig Charles and Chris
That's
Barry.
it. Yeah. So they had Chris Barry. If you don't know, Rimmer from Red Dwarf, he was judging the cosplay thing.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. But you had people in. No, you've probably seen them in other places. The people in the little Daleks driving around.
Yeah.
And you had like a couple of Doctor Who's walking around, and I think one of the Doctor Who's won it as well.
Sure.
Yeah. But like it felt
for a tabletop. Okay.
Yeah. But like it like those first couple of years, I think it might have just been, like I said, the fact that it wasn't in just like a cold, massive room. Yeah. It felt like homely and it felt cared for, if you know what I mean.
I do feel there are sometimes a bit too many merchandise stalls. Like I do, especially at MCM, I do feel like they're just really tightly packed together, and it's like how many boxes of Pocky can I buy? Because every other stall just sells Japanese.
It's like an episode of Scooby-Doo where they're just running and the background is exactly the same going past.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah, exactly.
I feel like this was like one of the things that kind of made me realise how much it turned into like a commercial, in the terms of the fact that we'd be looking at stalls, and if a game caught our eye and we'd think, well, I might come back and get that later, you'd be walking around. By the time you've walked around and looked at everything, you've forgotten what stall that thing was on. So then you've got to walk around the entire thing again just to try and find this one stall. It's just
this is Japanese snacks, pop stand, Japanese snacks, pop stand, and then you go past the actual pop vinyl stand that sells pop vinyls,
the licensed
one,
but
it's actually pop. The licensed one. Next to that is this slightly different Japanese food stand. To be fair, give me the
deep fried chicken balls.
I'm in for it. Then you got get those. go sit down and get your bubble tea. Don't forget your bubble tea because there's like 5 bubble tea stands next to each other. I like a little bit of variety, if I'm honest.
What was she? She was like 4, I think. I think so. I think last time I went to Comic-Con 2017.
We would have been there.
But no, I went on the
Is
Friday.
that the magic?
No, we would have been there on the
Oh,
Friday.
would you?
Is that the one when I was really, really hungover on that?
That
Friday?
might have been the hungover one. I'm not
Yeah,
going to
'cause-
lie to you.
Because we took the kids, it was like their first and only time going, and we thought they were out of school at the time. And it was like, let's go on the Friday when it might be a bit quieter, and it was quieter. It was good for them.
Yeah.
But it was, and the fact is, you didn't have to fight people to look at
Stuff.
anything.
Yeah.
But they went dressed up. One went as Spider-Man, and my daughter went as Tinkerbell. So that was fun.
Hang on. Let's see what 2017 would have been.
But I remember I spent like 50 quid on a Street Fighter merch stand.
Of course you did.
They basically did stitching of the characters onto like literally on the clothes, and I bought Dalsim, Sagat, and Zangief t-shirts. So you had them doing a move on the front, and then their victory pose on the back, which was really cool.
Aw.
And then I bought a cami hoodie, which I still wear quite often. I've actually worn it while doing this before.
Bendy, you also looking what you were wearing in 2017?
No, I was looking at when the next UK EG is. It's June. June the 3rd.
Blimey, less than a month.
Hey, no, it's not. It's still 3 years away. It's fine.
Where are we? What year is this?
Who's the president?
Ah!
Thank you.
So 2019.
It might be
Anyway.
2016 that I was really hungover. I think 2017 was the Horseman, wasn't it?
Oh, was it?
Was it?
Was it?
Was it the Horseman?
Was it the Horseman?
We did the Horseman from the Darksiders.
Yeah, see, I it's only because you said you'd gone every year since 2012. I was like, what are the odds that you were there at the same time I was there?
Oh,
We didn't know.
High hopes.
Uh,
I'm determined to find.
Determined to find 2017 MCM photos. I'm pretty
Well,
sure it was Horseman.
2018 was Moira.
That was Birmingham, though, wasn't it?
So that was. No, yeah, that was Birmingham MCM.
well, while Nettle's looking,
It's far more important.
is to you listeners that have been to events and that.
Siri was 2017 on the Sunday. So whatever.
Ooh.
So Friday was Captain Marvel for me. 2017. I don't know, because my fucking lights are going to be all like... Fuck you, lights!
Looks like you're next to a Lego
Another
Iron
Captain
Man.
Marvel.
That's Miss Marvel, that's Bon. It's Bonnie.
Buns.
It's the Bun.
It's a bun.
So what was I on the Saturday? This makes no sense. Did I not get any photos?
Anyway.
Maybe.
Yeah, so what are your takes on gaming
That was
events or
important.
events like that? I mean, it was worth finding out. We needed to know.
Going to the right one. Go to EGX. That's all I'm going to say.
Just go to EGX.
And when they do WASD next year, go to WASD.
I'm aiming to go EGX when we go this year, hopefully. When is it?
My podcast.
September.
Cool. Should be good. Yeah, so we're aiming to do EGX this year, so you'll probably get another EGX special at some point. And obviously WASD. And I'm hoping that I want that to grow, but I don't want it to grow into stands.
I don't think it'll ever grow into stands because the whole point of it is to show off as many indie suites as possible.
Yeah.
As soon as they stop doing that, people will stop going.
Yeah.
So, EGX Res never did that ever. Like it was just a thing that particular venue was good for showing small things off rather than selling things. It's not set up like the way it is. It's not set up for sales.
I did like the fact that they all had their kind of own little room, so they could do their own thing, and you knew exactly like who you was looking at when you walked in there.
Yeah.
So I mean, it was a bit daunting the first time being in there. I was like, this was not what I was expecting, but.
Can I clarify the date? 2018 or 2017?
Me?
Yeah.
2017.
Okay, I'm going back a further year.
May.
I need to know.
May was Darksiders. October was Siri. May the Forceman
Yeah.
Road.
May was when we went.
Yeah, so this would have been.
So-
Oh, I don't know if I can. Again, this fucking. Hang on. This is so annoying. Hang on, I wonder if it's because of that.
There I am. There's me. That one,
Kind of
there's
see
me.
it.
That one, that blurry one there with the.
Is that
purple
Craig?
nose.
It's great, yeah. So, this is me as War, Ash as Death, Bendy as Fury, and James as the other one that I can never remember the name of.
Strife.
Strife, thank you.
Awesome.
Yes.
The question has been answered as to what costume
Oh, and
was
that's-
being worn.
That was Saturday though. What was Friday?
Okay. But that's Sunday. That's my Captain Amari.
Oh, I can see that, yes. With a soldier.
And a soldier, yeah.
Yeah.
And this is more
It's
important.
it's evolved into going into the past, guys. I'm sorry.
It
What have I
was
done?
us!
What
This
have
is
I
more
done?
important.
Oh.
May was when you had a horrendous hangover.
Yay!
It was.
Friday. So what happened to me on the Friday, Tempus, while you were walking around with your kids? I was so hungover. I went back to the hotel at 12 o'clock after a beat because I was very ill and had to sleep. In full costume, I just fell asleep in the hotel. Just woke up, squidged my wig, and came back out again at about 2 o'clock.
I was
Perfect.
in
Mid-con
an
nap.
Art Nouveau Emma Frost and I got very sunburned.
See, is this one a bit better?
Yeah, you can see that one.
That's us.
That's me in the Benz.
Perfect.
Why don't you guys follow me on Instagram?
Oh,
What,
I
you mean
wanna
from the
show-
links below?
Yeah.
Big jump.
Oh,
So if you want to see any of these pictures, you can find them on Nettle and Bendy's Instagrams, which
Sorry,
are
everyone.
linked below.
Hashtag not
My eyes
sorry.
Grr,
It
grr.
what a terrible cosplay that was.
That was your own
Anyway,
fan. Wasn't
wasn't a terrible cosplay. Shut the fuck up.
so much better.
I think that's this week done, don't you?
Yeah, we've just gone on for 10
Yeah.
minutes about cosplay.
That's fine. People will understand.
Well, people listening won't.
Of those listeners, we were just showing our phones to the cameras and of nice pictures. So why don't go over to YouTube and watch it on YouTube?
And follow us on YouTube. Anyway,
You're idiot.
thank you for listening. As always, we appreciate that you come back every week. I don't understand why you do, but we appreciate it anyway. You can find all of our links below. Wherever you are watching or listening to this, we do have a Discord if you'd like to get involved with some game chat, or if you've got a topic or a question that you feel that we could speak about one week.
For those that didn't hear, that was check your code.
And you can find us on Twitter at T_U_G_P.
_U_N_. There's an underscore.
Oh my god, what is happening right now? Cool. So ASMR podcast now. Cool.
We are owned by Elon
We are not.
Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe.
So I'm. I've had to take my earphones out to stop. I have been your Marshall idiot.
Do this.
You can find me everywhere at Tempusbe.
Find him everywhere at Tempusbe.
Can you please explain where you two can be found while I go over there somewhere?
I'm Bendy! You can find me at Bendy Ben's Costuming everywhere. I make costumes. We've talked about it. In 2017, Nettle and I teamed up to become the Horsemen, and we did that. You can go look at my pictures from then. That was 5 years ago. Fuck me. Can time stop now, please? Thank you. Nettle, where are you?
I'm Nettlecreates, and you can find me everywhere as Nettlecreates.
Perfect.
Even in your front yard.
Don't look though.
Hi.
Don't look. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you soon. Bye.
Bye. Oh my god, why?